Good Tuesday morning. This is Robin with Roaming with Rover, and today is Robin's Ramblings. I wanted to talk a little bit more about what it's like being a gate guard. I did part one last week, and it has been so incredibly busy this last several days that I have not had a chance to get back on and do a follow-up video. But today is a good day, so we're going to give it a try. At least it's a good day so far. In the last week, we have moved locations, and that's something that you do regularly or not regularly. Some people do end up staying for a long time, but it's been our experience that every couple of months we pick up and move to the next location, the next well that they drill. So for us, that meant tearing down the motorhome, putting everything in storage, or not storage, but storing everything the place it belongs, putting everything in lockdown. We have an ATV that we bring with us, and it goes in the back of the pickup with a whole bunch of other stuff, the dog's gate. So just everything you own, you gets picked up and put away, and then you hit the road and go to the next place and lay it all back out again. So it's like one long, never-ending camping trip. We really enjoy the lifestyle. We really do. So as far as the rig itself, it also gets torn down piece by piece and carried off in, I don't know, dozens of semi-trucks, dozens of flatbeds, and you just see this huge parade of massively big pieces wandering by, and they tear it down in this location and they carry it across. For us, it was 40 miles ish. So they carried the 40 miles to the new location and put it all on site, and then put it all back together again like a giant puzzle, big old erector set. They know what they're doing. They've done it a million times, but boy, it was incredible for us to watch. This is the first time we got to see the whole thing, because normally during rig move, we stay on the old site until everything is gone and they've got everything all set up and ready to go on the new site. Then we come over to the new site, see where the boss wants us to be, and then we get set up. So we're basically the last thing to move. But this time, we needed to take the RV into town to see about getting some work done on it. And so we left right at the beginning, and so we'd be out of their way when the big truck started rolling. And the boss man said to just bring it on over to the new site and set up. So that's what we did. And because of that, we got to see all the big stuff come in, and we got to watch him build the whole thing from, when we got here, there was nothing on the property. And then we got to watch him build the whole thing up, clear up to a full running derrick. So that was really cool. That was a really good experience. This new site, man, the site is bigger. The working site is bigger. But remember before I told you how close we were? We are literally 10 feet away from the entrance to the site this time. So we're even closer than we were before. And on the other direction, we are just off the highway. And I mean just off the highway. You turn, the highway's going straight, you turn, you come in, and here we're sitting. There's the distance for maybe 2 semi-trucks between us and the road. Boy, oh boy, was it busy last night, and dealing with all the trucks coming and going, and there isn't a lot of room for them to maneuver. So it's going to be a tricky spot for us. And every location has its own advantages and disadvantages. Again, I like being close to the action. I am close to the action. So we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. I like it. But I also have to be really careful because the site is right here behind us, and I can't show you the site. So I have to strategically block stuff. So we'll see if that's enough blockage. I think it's going to be fine. So back to what it's like to do gate guarding, what it's like to work on a rig. This is a big part of what we do, is we sit and wait. There can be busy days. There are rigs that do hundreds of vehicles every day. I've heard of rigs doing 400, 500, 600 vehicles a day, and my gosh, they must just stand out there 24 hours a day and never get to move. For us, a busy day is between 40 and 50 vehicles, and that's 40 in, 40 out. And then on a slow day, and we do have slow days, thank goodness. Slow days often on the weekends, but not necessarily, but often on the weekends, we'll have 3 or 4 vehicles in. During the night, we don't get a lot of traffic, so a normal night is 2 or 3 vehicles in and out. A busy night is 10. And so typically I work the days. And like I said before, I've always gotten up early, so it just works out well for me to start quite early. And as a rule, I'm up and ready to go by 6 a.m. And then I'll putter around out here and get my coffee and sit and look through my messages. And I'm officially working, but it's pretty chill. There's some days though where I'll wake up to a line of trucks waiting for me, and then we jump right in and deal with that. That's the way it was the other morning when I showed you that little video, that it was going to be a busy day because I could see the trucks lined up down the road for a mile. I don't know how we're going to do that on this location because there's no place for them to line up. Like I said, the road is right there. So we'll see. It's gonna be tricky. So on the busy days, I'm in and out. We stay in the motorhome for the most part, unless it's nice weather. Mid-range weathers. If it's super hot, if it's in the hundreds, I'm sitting in here. If it's cold, I'm sitting in here. If it's windy, really windy, which happens a lot, I'm sitting in here. I mean, there have been times the wind is blowing so hard, I'll go to open the door to go take care of somebody, and a couple of times it has about knocked me off of the stairs and pulled the door right out of my hand. One time it slammed the door shut on my hand, and for weeks and weeks and weeks I had that black fingernail thing. So I'm super careful about the door, and I'm super careful to hold on to the handrail when I go down the stairs. It's only a couple of stairs, but I have slipped down those stairs too. So you just gotta be super careful out here. You gotta watch every movement. I tripped and fell a few weeks ago and hurt my knee. It's still sore, and it's been 2 or 3 months. I tripped over a rock, a little divoty rock in the dirt. It's dirt. It's a dirt field that we live in, and it's uneven, and I'm a clod, so that stuff's gonna happen. But no major injuries. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. So I'm going in and out, and I'm checking in the vehicles. And on slow days, well, you guys see, I'm able to make my YouTube videos. I'm working on my crochet. I'm spending too much time online looking at yarn. That's my biggest thing since I've been down here, is I'm able to crochet. And I have not been able to do my crafts for years. Typically I'm working 2 or 3 jobs. Went to school, did a lot of time studying. Kind of burned out on my reading. I used to read voraciously, but now I can hardly pick up a book. I'd much rather work on my projects. That's the sweater. It's coming along. I'm gonna finish the front panel today, depending on how busy we are. So during the downtimes, you've got time to do your crafts. A lot of people have little businesses on the side. One lady, and I don't know how she does it, but she screen prints shirts that she sells. She sells them in an Etsy shop. There's another lady that makes these beautiful little miniature paintings, and she does that in an Etsy shop. Thank goodness for Netflix, right? We have a satellite system. It's just like your dish network or whatever that you've got at your house, but we've got a small dish, small satellite. It's, I don't know, can't think of anything about the same size. It's bigger than a basketball, but it's very portable. We just pick it up and carry it. It's got a little plastic dome. You've probably seen them at campgrounds. People have them sitting out. So with the satellite, I get all the basic channels and, you know, all the junk channels. I got about 100 channels to pop through that I can watch. I watch a lot of CMT. We watch a lot of the older movies, just the regular shows. And then we also get the local channels, so I get to watch the new shows as they come out too. So that's good. We also have the Netflix and the what is the other, Prime, and a few other things. So of course the Netflix and the Prime use up your internet, and that's always an issue in the motorhome. So I tend to stay on the other channels as much as I can. So yeah, you can watch movies, you can watch TV. Now, having said that, you get interrupted all the time, and you don't know when you're going to get interrupted. And so I have a hard time focusing on anything. I can't watch anything that's going to be in depth or something I really need to pay attention to. So I tend to watch a lot of light stuff, things that you can go back and forth on all the time. It's nice if you stream a movie, because of course you can stop it or rewind it, and that's kind of the only way I can ever really get in a movie, unless I watch movies that I've already seen, and then you just let them go, which is typically what I do. The new stuff, it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up with. So let's talk about some pros and cons. So, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to think about it a little bit. So the pros are, of course, meeting the people. The people that we work with are amazing. I had 2 guys during the move yesterday. The guys were going to town and such, and I had 2 different guys bring me coffees yesterday. One brought me a Starbucks, and another one brought me one from Dutch Bros. Now, they traveled with those for 100 miles, so they weren't, you know, steaming hot, but oh my gosh, how generous, how thoughtful, how kind. And so I'm having a Starbucks this morning. Very, very sweet of them. The guys are wonderful. They would do anything for us, anything that we asked. And a lot of times they run into town and they'll just randomly bring me something. A lot of times they'll ask as they're heading out, and going to town, you need anything? They'll grab us something from the grocery store. They'll grab us something from fast food. They'll bring me a Diet Coke, whatever I want. They're just sweet and kind that way. Even one of the truck drivers the other day, he said he ordered his dinner and it came with 2 burritos, and there's no way he could eat 2 burritos, and he gave us one of them. It was so spicy. It was so spicy. There's no way I could have eaten it. But that happens a lot down here. The food is spicy, and I am a wimp. But so the people, I would say that the people is the number one pro. The company that we work for, we've never had any problems whatsoever with this company, and they put us to work within a couple of days of getting down here, and we have worked every day since. So we started working, we got down here the first week of August, I want to say on a Monday or Tuesday, and by Saturday we were set up and working. They put us up in an RV park until we were ready to work. And I know that's not always the case. I have heard other people where they get down here and then they sit and wait, and they're paying for their own lodging while they sit and wait. But our company did not, or at least maybe it was our lead that facilitated that, but that's what happened with us. And so since the first week of August, we have been working nonstop. It is now almost the end of January, and we have not been one day without work the whole entire time. Which brings us to a con. You don't get time off. This is a 24/7 job. There are some placements where you work 12 hours a day and you either sit in your car or you sit in one of the guard shacks. We didn't have any interest in doing that. If you're doing that kind of work, typically you're going to have your RV sitting over at an RV park somewhere, and that somewhere might be half an hour away, it might be an hour and a half away. So then you sit in a guard shack for 12 hours a day, and then you drive an hour and a half to your RV. Wasn't interested in that. I want my RV to be on site with Mister and with my puppies and with my refrigerator and with my bathroom. So that is a con. 24/7. You don't get days off. You don't get time off. During rig move, our boss lets us take a few hours and go into the big city. And for us, the big city is Midland, Odessa. So we're able to take that drive in there and go to real stores. Last time I went and got some new shoes. We went to dinner, picked up some groceries at a bigger grocery store. This time we spent the time running around with the RV trying to get things repaired. Which brings me to another con. Just being in an RV full time, it's difficult to get things fixed, and things break all the time. There are needed repairs in an RV when it's a liveaboard, and probably even if it's not. I only have experience with a liveaboard. So getting repairs in an RV is never easy. And typically all of our off time, when we travel throughout the year and then we go home to Washington, and we'll sit there 2-3 months, and we spend the whole time trying to get things repaired in the RV. The whole entire time that we're home, we're dealing with things. Last year it was the awning that ripped off the side of the RV as we were driving down the freeway. That was exciting, let me tell you. But it took months to get those parts. And right now, yes, is even more difficult, but it's always been difficult to get parts and get into a RV repair place. Now, multiply that times sitting in the middle of a field 50 miles, 100 miles from the biggest city and try to get your RV worked on. We are currently without an oven, so I have a combo microwave convection oven, and it worked really, really well until it died on Christmas Day. And we tried to go without. We've got a little Instapot, and we can use that for a lot of things. But let me tell you, without a microwave is not easy. And even the oven part, I kind of didn't realize how much I used the oven part until you don't have it. So a couple days later, I sent Mister down to go buy us a new microwave. And so now we've got a microwave, but we still don't have an oven. And it would be covered under warranty, except I can't find anybody to work on one. I've got a couple people that will just replace it, but the warranty won't cover a replacement until I've had it worked on. So don't know what's going to happen there. And the big thing is we don't have any heat or AC because our heat pump went out in September. And I've had 3 different mobile RV guys out here to work on it. The first guy charged us $1,000, and he did fix a couple little things, but not the main unit. And then he said you need to replace the entire unit, and it's going to be about $5,000 for the unit, and I can't do the work. Okay, so then we get somebody else. Oh, sure, no problem. I just need a check to hold your spot so that we can come out and work on it. Never came out. So we had to cancel that check. And that has not been our typical experience with mobile repair guys. Most of them throughout the 4 years we've been doing this have been very, very good. I actually usually recommend the mobile guys over the sticks and bricks places, but that's not been our experience out here. The other guy we called came out, and oh yeah, they charge you $150 to show up at the door. And so the third one came out and said, oh, I don't know how to work on this kind of a unit, and left. So no AC, no heat. The heat's been fine because we just use little floor heaters. We got a couple little electric heaters, and we've got a little propane heater. So that's really not been much of an issue. No AC down here is an issue. It's 100 degrees, 90 in the 90s a lot of the time. So we went and bought one of those freestanding AC units, and it does a pretty decent job in the living room, but it doesn't keep the back cool at all. It doesn't, where we have to sleep. So we're gonna have to figure something else out. So anyway, we found a place that had the part that we needed, and they actually had time to work on it. It was only gonna be about a month to get in and get it worked on. So when we tore everything down, we drove over to Midland to the repair shop to make sure it was the right part before they ordered it, because I didn't want to be paying $5,000 for a part, have it get here and it may not be the right one, because that's how I roll. And he's like, yep, it's the right part, this is the right number. Now they're out of stock. So now we have to pay $5,000, hand him a check, and he orders one to be manufactured, and we have no idea when it's going to get here. Might be a month, might be a year. I have no options though. It's got to be done, and I suppose if it comes right down to it, we can always have it drop shipped back home and have it installed up there. I don't know. Those are the kinds of things you deal with. Motorhoming and gate guarding. The lack of places to deal with things. I thought I heard somebody honking. So that's definitely a con. Getting things repaired is definitely a con. There's some funny little things that I notice. Funny things that I miss because I'm working. And like I said, I start work at 6 in the morning. I never said when I stop. I officially go off duty at 10 at night. I know that sounds terrible, but Mr. doesn't sleep. So he's got the night shift. So he's officially on duty at 10. There's a lot of times he starts earlier. If I'm just beat, if I want to get a shower and deal with my hair, then I'll stop early and he'll take over. It's no big deal. So let's say between 9:30 and 10 on a regular basis. And then he takes over 10 at night to 6 in the morning. I can't stay up all night. He can. And he doesn't sleep well. He's in a lot of pain all the time. So he's up all night most of the time anyway. He only gets 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and then he's out sitting in the recliner anyway. And then when I get up in the morning, we chit chat for a little bit. Who's in, what's going on, has any of the guys left yet? At shift change, the guys' shift change is 6 in the morning and 6 at night. So they will head off into town. In fact, we might start getting interrupted as they go off into town. And they'll go off into town and they'll get some breakfast or run to the grocery store, that kind of thing. So Mr. will do the night shift. Then in the morning, we chit chat, get an overview of what's gone on and what we expect for the day. And he'll go lay down, and he will normally sleep till 9:30 or 10, give or take. And then he gets up and he makes breakfast. He does all the cooking. He takes care of the dogs. He takes care of the stuff that needs to be taken care of outside. He's always piddling around with something. I do the heavy cleaning. He vacuums pretty much every day because dust is a never-ending chore here. So it sounds like I'm up working all the time, and I am. I'm on duty with the vehicles a lot, but he's doing all the stuff around here. So it works out for us. And if I have to go to town, or if I need to do something, if I have a meeting or something, a Zoom meeting or something, then he takes over. And even sometimes if I've gotten to a real tricky part in one of my patterns, he'll just handle the cars for me. So it works out really well. It works out real well for us. I've heard of other couples that are right to the minute, 12 hours. I've heard of couples that do 6 on and 6 off. And so you know, it's whatever works out for the individual couple that is doing this. For us, this is what works out. Some weird cons, of course. You're always working 24/7. One of us is always working, so you don't get any alone together time. You never get to sleep with your partner laying next to you. No snuggle time. Showers, they provide us water, but it is a limited amount, and so showers and laundry take up a lot of water, and so you're careful with them. You don't get a shower every day. I get about 3 a week. Each of us get about 3 a week. And laundry, I can do laundry about twice a week. And so doing that is going to use up our supply of water. And they've never yipped at us for needing the water filled up, but I do know that with some places they get 500 gallons of water and they got to make it last 2 weeks, and that's it. So I am careful about it. My hair, oh my gosh, and I've complained about this before, but between the wind and the dirt, my hair is just one big knot all the time. And it takes me half an hour to comb the knots out of it. And so I typically wear a scarf. There's somebody leaving. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so like I said, the guys are starting to go to town. My hair is a mess. What this stuff has done to my hair is just one big knot, and it's dry and it's brittle, and the dirt here is never ending. The wind is never ending. So that's just nasty. It is just nasty. I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. I feel like it's never gonna get better. So we'll see. But that's definitely one of the cons. My skin feels really dry and yucky all the time. I put lotion on nonstop. The clothes, honestly, I have pulled them out of the washing machine sometimes, and like I'm smelling them. I'm like, did these even wash? They feel gritty. Not gritty, they feel dusty. Everything is dusty. I picked up a soda bottle yesterday that has been here I bought it at the store when we went last week, and it was caked with, just covered in dust. It looked like it'd been sitting in someone's basement for 6 months. So, and that's what everything is like here. I'm forever wiping and washing and wiping everything down. So the dirt is definitely a con. And then there's weird little things too. Like, I like to get up in the morning and sit and drink my coffee and get ready for the day. You don't get to sit around in your jammies. It doesn't happen because you got to get up and go to work. I like to kick my shoes off and tuck my legs up under me and sit on the couch and crochet and snuggle with my puppies. You don't get to do that. I don't get to ever kick my shoes off. And I noticed that this weekend, that as soon as I would sit down and tuck my feet up under me, I'd have to jump up. And so it's weird little things like that. You don't get to hang out in your slippers. And with the dirt and the dust, I have everything covered in towels, everything. All my cooking utensils, everything. And even I'll pull something out of the drawer and it'll be covered in dust. So everything, you have to wipe off everything before you use it. It just becomes second nature. You cannot drink the water. The water is full of this dusty, silty stuff. It's weird. I don't know, but it is. And so you don't drink the water. And so bottled water for everything. And with the bottled water, you have to remember to use bottled water to brush your teeth. You have to remember to use bottled water if you're cooking something and I'm pouring, I need half a cup of water on something. I have to remember to use the bottled water. And it's hard to remember to do that because, we're used to just turning on the tap and letting it go. And then you've got the normal, or typical things when you're camping, when you're RVing, where you have problems with the lights, or you have problems, the generator blows, or you have water line freezing up, which we've been dealing with here lately. But that's just normal camping stuff. That's just normal RV stuff. This is a paid position, and all different companies pay different amounts. We get $175 a day. That's a 24-hour day. So it's a day rate. It is not a per person. And some people get all up in arms about this. And they're like, you're making, $4 an hour or whatever. Because, they're dividing it by 24 and dividing it by 2 and blah, blah, blah. I'm not working 24/7. I am here 24/7. There are days when I worked half an hour. There are days when I've worked 20 hours. But it evens out. And I think that if most people doing this job are retired military, Social Security, they're getting some kind of pension, and this is supplementing it. Now, I gotta tell you, I heard the other day from another gate guard that they're making $250 a day. I have seen ads for gates that make $300 a day. I am afraid that those are some of those gates where you're getting 4, 5, 6, 700 trucks a day, and that's not worth it to me. So you gotta take that into account. We get paid weekly. It's direct deposit. I never see the money. It goes right into my bank back home. And we are saving for some very specific things. So that money is going for that. So I didn't have to take out a loan to do some work and to recoup some of the repairs on this thing. We put between $5,000 and $10,000 a year into repairs and maintenance on this thing. Yes, it's a lot. This is not a cheap lifestyle. Some people manage to do it quite cheaply. For some reason, my rig is possessed and I always have to do something expensive. So we're saving up for some specific things. We get, like I said, we get paid weekly. This is a 1099 job. So no taxes come out of it. You do not get any kind of benefits. You're not getting health insurance or anything like that. No paid days off. If you're not working, you're not getting paid. And we are planning on doing some days off in March. We have not had a day off other than a few hours to run to town during rig move. We've not had a day off since we started this the beginning of August. You can, and some people do, schedule days off. We have not, because you're not making any money, and that's what we're down here for, is to get some money built back up. There are some things around here we do want to go see, so when we do our days off, we are going to go up to, I can't remember the name of it. There are 2 national parks within a few hours drive of where we are, one north of us, one south of us, and we want to hit both of those national parks. And then we will have hit all the national parks in Texas as well. That's kind of all I can think of off the top of my head. It's cold, it's windy, it's dirty. Or it's hot and it's windy and it's dirty. There's a lot of creepy crawlies out here. I have seen tarantulas, I have seen scorpions, dung beetles boy, when it's dung beetle season, I will be giving you guys videos of the dung beetles. Dung beetle season is interesting. And I have a friend who's obsessed with our dung beetles. We've seen coyotes, we've seen, the javelinas. I hate the javelinas. They're kind of a wild pig thing. They're nasty. I have seen javelinas at 2 of our sites. I don't think we're going to see them here because we're so close to the traffic. I don't think we're going to see them here. So that's a pro in my book. There's a serious lack of groceries. Like I said, we're actually really close to the grocery store this time. We're only 10 minutes from town, but I've got one really, really bad Walmart, worst Walmart I've ever seen. And then there is a nice grocery store here. It's not a big grocery store, but it's pretty nice. And it's probably comparable to, I don't know what you guys have. Safeway, Albertsons, Rosars, Smith's. Not as big as a Smith's, not as big as a Fred Meyer's. A medium-sized local grocery store. But it's expensive. But every grocery store is expensive right now. Getting fresh fruits and vegetables is tricky, especially since we tend to do a lot of our grocery shopping at the Walmart, and it's not a super Walmart, so they have nothing fresh. And we have very little room, so we can't really go into town all the time, so you get stuff that lasts for a long time. And that's not typically fresh stuff. But again, if the guys go into town and they're going into the big town, they'll bring me back a bag of oranges, they'll bring me back whatever. You make it work. You make it work. None of us are starving to death, that's for sure. But that's kind of a life. You're either working or you're not working. There's a lot of downtime on our rig. There's a lot of downtime on the majority of rigs of people that I've talked to. And then there's a few where they are working hard the whole time. I had one lady tell me that they are so busy at shift change that both of them have to be out there the whole time, checking in vehicles. There has been a couple times here where I've had vehicles lined up and I've hollered for Mister to come out and grab a clipboard. We've got 2 tablets and 2 clipboards, so you can do 2 at a time. And I'll have him checking cars out while I'm checking cars in. But that's only just been a few minutes. I think maybe twice we've had that happen. So that's kind of it. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I have plenty of time to work on my crafts. I've got plenty of time to work on my crochet and hang out with the dogs, take the dogs for walks. The setup doesn't really allow me to go walking. The first 2, I could easily go for a walk to the end of the road and come back and not be away from the RV. If I'm trying to walk here, I'm walking down the side of the highway. That's not good. I haven't spent enough time out here yet to look and see if there's a place on the side of the RV that I can walk up and down. And I have to stay off the rig site, so that's that. So we'll see. So I'm not getting as much walking as I want to do, and nor nearly as much as I did last year. That's sort of it in a nutshell. That's the life of a gate guard. Not hard, but it's definitely not something I'd want to do for years and years. And there are, I was talking to a guy the other day that he has done this for 4 years straight. And I talked to another guy who they're in like their 10th year of doing this and they love it. Gosh, I wish I could remember his name. I'll put it in the link below. The one that I was just talking to the other day. Dang it, why can't I remember his name? I had a really nice conversation with him. But I'll put his link below. He's got a YouTube channel and he did a lot of videoing of the outside of the gate gardening stuff. So it was fun to watch. And I remember watching his videos before we came down here. So it was cool to be able to talk to him the other day. That was really, really nice. But I'll definitely put his link down below so you can go and watch his videos. Dang it, I can see his picture, but I can't think of his name. I have a terrible memory anymore, just terrible. And you know, that's another thing that I do want to touch on is you can easily lose touch with real people, with your real friends and your real family. Thank goodness for FaceTime and all of the technology that we have nowadays. But you really have to put in an effort to stay connected with people, to stay in contact with people, or you can easily lose that. And that is a bad thing. That is a hard thing, especially for those folks that are down here for years at a time. I talked to a lady the other day. She was doing fill-in work, and they had been here maybe, well, no, it was their first job, so they'd only been here maybe a week, and they had planned on staying until March or April, and she said she didn't think she could handle it. She really couldn't stand being away from her people for that long. And they used to travel on their job, so they would travel all over the country, and she didn't think it was any big deal, but not having that time when she knew at the end of the week they were going to go home, or at the end of 2 weeks they were going to go home. So they're really struggling with this. So, and I think we probably would have too if we hadn't already been out on the road for a couple, 3 years, to where we were already kind of used to that. But yeah, that's a big downfall for a lot of folks. But I am very thankful for FaceTime, and I'm very thankful for being able to just call and chat with people. But you really have to make an effort to stay connected with your people. That's the one thing that I would say is probably the most important thing. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to end at that. I am happy to answer any questions that you guys have. You can put down in the comments whatever questions you have. And I gotta let this go, so I'm just gonna say goodbye. Please subscribe, please like, please leave a comment. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.